Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles the Bandsman, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We'll cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see it. So today we got a pretty big piece of news for you guys. As you guys are aware, Skip Bayless recently made his departure from FS1, right? He even went out there and made some comments publicly on his Twitter, basically thanking the network and, you know, describing what his experience was like, I believe, for 8 years, if I'm not mistaken, at the network, and how he said he was then on to doing bigger and better things there. But when the news initially broke, a lot of us assumed that Skip Bayless was fired. Why did many of us assume this? Based on the numbers that we were getting. So you guys remember, after Shannon Sharpe left the show, Undisputed decided to do a reshuffle. They started bringing in various media personalities like Keyshawn Johnson, Paul Pierce, Rachel Nichols, who else? Michael Irvin, and a whole bunch, Richard Sherman, and so many others. And a lot of people expected, or at least people within the corridors of Fox Sports, expected that to be just what the doctor ordered. But instead, it ended up being an absolute disaster. Shannon Sharpe went over to ESPN First Take, and they started hitting record highs. And then Undisputed was hitting record lows. And they were hitting lows that were even lower than when Shannon Sharpe was there. I mean, when Shannon Sharpe was there, they were averaging around 150,000 daily viewers. And on some days on FS1, there were days they were hitting like 55,000 concurrent viewers. And that was just really, really bad. So a lot of people were scared about, what could happen with Skip in terms of the ratings. Some people that had disagreements with Skip in the public forum were even poking fun at that. So when we found out that he was no longer going to be on the show, a lot of people assumed that it had to do with his abysmal ratings, right? The poor ratings. But as it turns out, it seems like, in fact, it wasn't FS1 that let go of Skip Bayless. Instead, it seems that based on the reporting and the information that we got for you guys today, it seems like Skip was the one that decided to leave. And who's our source for this? Well, none other than Skip Bayless, right? And these are the comments that we really want to hone in on today. But before we even get into what Skip had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Time. With only 4 months left in 2024, I'm really looking forward to making memories with my family and attending different games and concerts and theater shows this year. And so when it comes time to finding the most affordable tickets for these shows and events, I love using Game Time. Game Time is one of the most reliable marketplaces for last-minute tickets to the most popular events in sports, music, and theater in more than 60 cities across the United States and Canada. Game Time already analyzes thousands of tickets for all of your favorite events near your location and finds you the best possible deal so you don't have to. For example, I'm looking forward to this upcoming concert at Madison Square Garden of one of my favorite composers, Hans Zimmer. Here, I can select the all-in price to see the total ticket price up front, no hidden fees. And now I can sort through the best possible deals I can find. I can choose the cheapest deals, the great deal, or the amazing deal. Once you select the ticket you want, you can use their panoramic seat view to ensure you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. And if you're like me and always make plans at the last minute, you can grab tickets up to 90 minutes after the event has started. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and use redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let's get into what this article we're reading from is from Awful Announcing. It says, Skip Bayless insists he left FS1 to escape TV handcuffs, no more bosses with huge egos. The article then continues on. For everyone who's been begging and clamoring to get a more unfiltered Skip Bayless, today appears to be your lucky day. Bayless left FS1 after nearly 8 years last month, and his exit has largely been spun as a network's decision, citing Undisputed's rating entering a tailspin in the wake of Shannon Sharpe's exit. But on the latest episode of the Skip Bayless show, the 72-year-old sports entertainer attempted to spin the departure as his choice, citing freedom of expression. The NFL season is about to start, along with my new life, Bayless said. I have waited a long time for this moment. I am finally free. Free to unleash in ways I never have. Free to give you every bit of me without boundaries or handcuffs or fear of suspension. I recently left FS1 as an exit. I recently left FS1. An exit I had planned for several months because I wanted to do this. I wanted to be my own boss, to bet on myself, to be free from the TV networks I worked for 35 years. For 35 years, I've been told, don't, careful, careful, careful. I've tiptoed, sidestepped, pulled punches. No more bosses with huge egos and hidden agendas. No more games that that have to be played behind closed network doors. Now I'm free to be 1000% me. Bayless has been one of the most well-known sports media personalities for decades, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a reader, viewer, or listener who felt bosses unfairly shackled him during his career. And then it says a few other things on his podcast. However, Bayless gave the example that if he was still with FS1, he would have been prohibited from discussing the NFL placing restrictions on Tom Brady's Fox broadcasting access. Bayless is right. FS1 would have prohibited him from discussing the Tom Brady's topic, as they seemingly did with Colin Cowherd early this week. But in terms of network restrictions and potential things you can't talk about, the NFL barring Brady from production meetings is probably low on the list. So you heard what Skip Bayless had to say. Let's unpack this quickly. First of all, he basically is dispelling all of the rumors and reports that he was fired. Because again, many of us felt that the reason that the network decided to go in a different direction was solely based on the ratings. But according to what he's saying, he said that he'd been planning this for 7 months. Now, I want to go a little bit deeper in his comments. He said he had been planning this for 7 months. Not that he told them 7 months ago that he wants to leave, which means what? There's also a possibility that he probably looked into the future and saw that the show wasn't going to be what it used to be without Shannon Sharpe, and he started to plan his next move. There's also that aspect here. I'm not saying that's the truth, but that could be a possibility. Because my understanding, and I think the understanding of many, is that the executives at FS1 are the decision makers, right? They were the ones that decided that, look, it's time for Shannon Sharpe to go in a different direction. I think they're the ones that decided that, look, this show needs a refresh, it needs a rebrand, they need to bring in new faces and all of that. So I think it was their decision. So two things could be true. It could be that Skip saw the writing on the wall, and also FS1 decided to let him go. Now, everything else he said in terms of what he was looking forward to doing, in terms of his freedom, be able to say things, go in different directions without having so many constraints upon him, I think that there's some truth to that as well. I can understand it. I can see that. Obviously, on TV, you're going to have some restrictions. You got to play a role. You got to play a part. Many media personalities have said as much. How shows are structured, especially debate shows. You got to take this side. I got to take that side. Many people have kind of broken this down into various pieces, right? But nevertheless, it is surprising to hear that. I mean, based on the way the information came off, meaning the quotes that we read to you, it sounds like as if this was Skip's decision. I want to quickly read what he said once more. He said, "I have waited a long time for this moment. I am finally free to unleash in ways I never have." Then he said, "I recently," hear this, "left FS1, an exit I had planned for several months because I wanted to do this." If you pay attention to the wording, it doesn't 100% say that it was his decision. It's not conclusive that it was Skip's decision to leave. What's clear is that he was planning for departure, but it doesn't mean that the FS1 executives didn't fire him, and he essentially walked into the office and told him, I'm done and I want to go, right? I don't think it was that, but it's up for you guys to interpret. So the question is simply this to the audience: whose decision do you think it was for Skip Bayless to leave FS1? Do you think it was the FS1 executives, or do you think it was Skip Bayless himself? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.